All Blacks and Italy, 47 points to 9 is a comfortable enough victory without being all that kind of pleasing, I would say, for All Blacks fans. I've just had my parents over. They had seen the game. They were much more committed than myself and got up at 2 in the morning to watch this one live. And I've just watched it about 12 hours after the fact. I guess it helps that they don't have two kids under 6 years old to look after during the day. But anyway, 47-5. They weren't that chuffed about it, and I kind of take them as a standard All Blacks fan to gauge about what the reaction will be from New Zealand fans generally. I don't know if you can be happy about 47-9 as an Italian fan, but it was an interesting one. I'll say that. So we'll go through some of the key events, some of the stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on it. It was a wee bit scrappy early, a few knock-ons, and New Zealand especially guilty of the knock-ons. Italian defence was pretty well set, which is encouraging for Kieran Crowley in his new role as Italy head coach. Unfortunately for Brad Weber, he had to go off with an HIA and didn't come back on. So, good opportunity for Finlay Christie, but bad news for Brad, to be sure. Italy, interestingly, when they had a bit of a chance early on, were not opting to kick kickable penalties when it was still 0-0. They were going for the line out. They went for a maul. That didn't really do anything, but they tried to put D-Mac under a bit of pressure with some high balls, and he didn't look particularly comfortable. And to be fair, they kind of got robbed because apparently the ref said at one point that when Minozzi had batted a ball back in a competition with D-Mac in the air, Monty Ioane had ended up with it, and the referee had already blown the whistle, so he called the game back and I think gave the Italians the scrum. But Monty would have been over if they hadn't done that. I'm not saying that would have been a difference in the game when it's 47 points to 9, but sure would have been nice for the Italians to get on the board with a try early. There's nothing quite like getting ahead and at least putting a bit of mental pressure on your opposition. AB's first attack, it was a line out, and they missed that as well. So kind of neither side was able to get anything going too much in the opening period. Italy went for touch again on 17 minutes, but the All Blacks pinched the line out, so still 0-0. Finally, New Zealand got on the board on 28 minutes through Finlay Christie, and it wasn't how you would expect. They had just set like a set play and knocked it on, and from that knock on, it was an Italian scrum. So New Zealand's attacking opportunity down the drain, but Christie picks the pockets of the Italians. The ball pops out the back of their scrum, and Finlay Christie, I'm going to say Fisty, he's the guy who grabs it, and sure enough, it's 7 points to 0 to the AB. So quick reactions from him. Bit of a soft one for the Italians, to be fair, because they'd been good up until that point. So, a bit of a disappointing one for them. And then it kind of becomes a quick-fire double for the ABs with Coles going over for a maul try not long later. So 14-0. Interesting how many of the tries are maul tries for the All Blacks, eh? It kind of speaks to the way that guys who you expect to be able to cut things up, like D-Mac and, like Mo'unga and guys like that, you would expect to be getting more space. Not so much when it's Coles with 2 and Almore with 2, all from mauls. D-Mac did try to do the old jinking feet to step Minozzi, but Minozzi is as equally agile as D-Mac. If you haven't seen him play before, he is pretty electric. Didn't get many chances in this game, but he was certainly able to keep D-Mac quiet when they had one-on-ones. And then D-Mac conceded a penalty. I think that was from the same moment, and Italy kicked it, so it was 14 points to 3. Interestingly, Italy opted to take the threes at that point, now that they were 2 tries down. The ABs replied with another maul try, so 21-3, and before halftime, the Italians kicked another penalty to make it 21-6. So 21-6 at halftime, it's not bad. It's interesting that the All Blacks have scored pretty much all their points in the final 10 minutes-ish of that half. Like 28 minutes is just before the final 10 minutes when there's some tired legs out there. Second half, Coles almost gets his hat-trick with another maul, but that one is denied. Monty Ioane did well to get under that one to stop it from going over, so he gets substituted not long later. Gets player of the match, but no hat-trick for Dane on that one. The ABs went through a heap of phases, but the Italian fence was just solid. They got a big turnover penalty, and then they opted for 3, so they made it 21 points to 9 on 57 minutes. 57 minutes, 21 21-9. I don't think many people would have had money on that scoreline at that point in the game. At around an hour, because I was watching with my old man, I said, surely we're going to open them up. And he's trying his best not to give anything away. But I've already gotten the feeling from him that he's not particularly satisfied with the game. But yeah, sure enough, the All Blacks do. They score a pretty nice one through Reese. That one was Tuangafussy with a wee pick and go. Got it to Christie, and then Christie to Reese, who put down some wheels. He went over. And then it's not long later before we see the next one, which was Aumua, another maul, and then Satutu down the left wing. And then Aumua with another. He peels off the maul really well. He's got some, for a hooker, he's very, very fast. Kind of hard guy to bring down. So, yeah, it blows out when they get those tries. But, yeah, 47-9. All kind of in the latter stages of each half. So maybe a bit tired legs on the Italian side. Maybe the All Blacks guys just kind of wearing them down. I mean, you look at the stats and it's mostly the All Blacks. It's possession 60-40. It's territory 61-39. So the All Blacks kind of in control. The run meters are 558 to 265. But one thing I found interesting was if you're looking at the meters per carry, which is a stat I often kind of follow to see just how teams are doing. And remember, the All Blacks, if the gold standard or the minimum standard key KPI or whatever you want to call it is like 4. The All Blacks have this season have been well above 4. I think the Aussies, they were averaging 7 or 8 meters per carry. Really just finding open space. And for over the year, well above 4. I think 5, maybe 6. This game, 3.6. So the Italians kept the All Blacks relatively quiet. You can look at like Braden Ennor, 2 runs, no meters. Not much of a chance for that guy on his return. I think Tupaia got a bunch. He got 100 plus, but nothing much doing for Ennor. Monty Ioane had 100 plus, but he's got virtually half of the Italian run meters on his own. I mean, he's got 109. Italy's got 265, so not quite half, but he's got a fair chunk of them. He still looks dangerous. 6 defenders beaten. But, yeah, interestingly, the Italian defense, 90% is their tackling rate, made 172 tackles. Well, that's a shift, man. I feel good to talk up the Italians after this, but still, 47-9. How good are you feeling after that? I don't know. Any Italian fans will have to let us know. All Blacks tackle at 80%, only have to make 65. So if you've seen the Ireland result, you'll know that's kind of an interesting one that sets up the All Blacks game as well. In that Ireland put in quite a slick performance, and the All Blacks a wee bit rusty, albeit with a heap of changes. So maybe this is kind of to be expected with all those new combinations. Clean breaks 2 to 3. When was the last time the All Blacks only got 3 clean breaks a game? They're averaging like 10 plus easy. So yeah, quite bizarre stuff. Knock-ons 11 to 6. The All Blacks guilty of a few too many of those. But yeah, 5 turnovers conceded. D-Mac a couple, Ennor a couple. So yeah, just a few kind of misses. Kane, like top tackler for the All Blacks, good to see him back. 9 from 10 tackles. Cece for the Italians, 15 from 15. A bunch of guys were kind of 15, 14 tackles for the Italians. So yeah, it's a bit of a bizarre game where if you're a New Zealand fan, you're probably not that thrilled to win 47-9. I don't know. But I mean, certainly it's minutes in the bank for a lot of guys who haven't played that much or haven't played together. So in terms of Fozzie's job, if there's a game where you want to be a bit lackluster, maybe it is one where you are building a bit of experience for Italy. It's in terms of Kieran Crowley's reign, I honestly don't think it's too bad. I know it's hard to talk up 47-9, but I'm going to say it's actually not too bad. Italy have Argentina next, which is actually a pretty big game in the scheme of things because both those sides are without a win over top-tier opposition for quite some time. So big one for them to target. And New Zealand, like I said, have Ireland. So that could be a pretty interesting one based on how both of this week's performances went. Although Ireland, I would say, are probably more like to pick a pretty stable team compared to the All Blacks, who will likely pick a largely changed one. But anyway, you guys have any thoughts? I've still got one game to go. That's Tonga and England, but I'll watch that now. And fingers crossed, be able to see my family again at some point. But anyway, my folks are out there looking after the kids. I'll go see what they're up to. You guys take care. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.